I sit down, I light one up, and pour myself a drink. And I have found that it picks me up, it gives me time to think. It's been a long day, you know it's true, but I'm feeling right at home. And now I must say that time is due. Let's get on with the show. Not just blowing smoke.
All right, we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome again to Not Just Blowing Smoke. Coming at you live from Twins Studio headquarters right here in the 724 Lounge in Londonderry, New Hampshire. Here you go, my dear.
Oh, thank you. Just
Make sure that you hit that subscribe button, whether you're watching us live on Facebook or YouTube, or if you're listening after the fact on Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcast from. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't ever miss a thing. I'm Pastor Padron. I'm here with my co-hosts, Pat and Dave, and we have Bree again from the 724 Lounge.
hello.
Debris. And tonight we are smoking and reviewing this cigar, the Tatuaje TAA 2022. Yes, it's 2023, and 2022 cigars are still coming out. We're supposed to ship, according to a notice in Half Wheel in November, but as typical it seems in the business, sometimes things just get pushed off. So it's January, it's a new year, but here we go. It is a Connecticut broadleaf cigar, double Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan filler. It's considered a Robusto size. Here you go. At 5 3/8 by 52. It's got a soft box press to it. And Bree, what are we going to be pairing with this tonight?
So, this was a kind of opportune night for the podcast because tomorrow is National Irish Coffee Day.
National Irish Coffee Day.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but last year we did a slain espresso martini, which is completely different and honestly way easier than our traditional espresso martini. So we're doing that again this year. So we have a couple of drink specials going on at the lounge tomorrow, just a couple different variations of the Irish coffee and another coffee-based beverage, which is our Slain Espresso Martini. So pretty much in this drink, well, if you go to the Slain website, this drink is supposed to be espresso, obviously.
Right, yeah.
Slain Irish whiskey, Amaro, Nonino, which is like another kind of bitter liqueur, and coffee liqueur. So our lounge version here has simple syrup, coffee liqueur, espresso, and Slain, of course.
And lots of Slain.
Yes, lots of
How
Slain.
much Slain is in there?
Oh, like a whole
Slurry
2 ounces.
Slain.
A whole 2 ounces. I was going to say, it's very obvious that it's a...
Yeah, and we're, typically it's 1.5. We're making this one last with our podcast here.
Okay. All right, so
Yeah,
we
it
got
kinda
a little bit of
depends.
a boosted
We don't
version.
have the Amaro in it in our recipe, so ours
Now,
might be
why
more
not?
whiskey
Why
forward.
don't we have the Amaro in it?
Because that is not what the postcard says.
Ba-dum.
Yeah, the postcard also says whipped cream, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. I don't need whipped cream on top of my... That would be a little annoying.
That's what I was... I mean,
Yeah.
I almost put it
I
in
mean,
the
if you're
side shot
smoking a
glass.
cigar, and you have whipped cream on the end of it, I mean, that's...
That'd be an interesting pairing.
Aha, there we go.
Yeah, I
That
don't
was
know.
good time.
Pat might like it, though. Do we have drum rolls yet?
Do we have a whip sound?
Well,
Yeah.
that would be no to both of those questions, I guess. Yes. Okay. Well, we'll still let Dave play with the soundboard, sorta. And all right. first things first. Let's go around and talk about opening thoughts of the cigar here.
Cream, spice,
Everything nice.
and it's got a sweetness to it.
It does.
It's like that nice, sweet, creamy spice. And I would say
White
hints
pepper,
of-
black pepper, red pepper.
yeah, lots of peppers.
Oh, you have no idea, Pete. I'm going to make you hot pepper, white pepper, cold pepper.
That is the best outtake from Pete Johnson. That is just so perfect. Him doing a mimicking of Rocky Patel. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Pat, what about you? What are you picking up off this thing?
It's a good start so far. I was happy to see that they did a TAA this year because I remember 2020 when I first started working at Twins, we had the 2020 TAA and then they didn't do
been
one in
that long?
2021. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that one had a Sumatra wrapper on it, but it had this. It was a little bit of a thicker Vitola. I think it was a like a 54, 55,
Mhm.
and it was like the same kind of like. I call it a butter press. I don't know, just what I do. I get
It's
the
a butter
soft press,
press.
but it's
You
like a little,
call it a butter press.
yeah, it's like a little butter bar.
Bada-ba,
That's how I say, whatever.
bada-ba.
So
Why do you like calling it a butter press?
Butter.
because it's not really a box press, it's like a butter press. I don't know.
Hey,
Like,
can
I
you
stick a
say
butter.
Because
Soft-
your butter
soft-
does not have sharp edges. Okay.
You know what, Gabe? I call
You
it.
handle your butter first.
It only matters if I like it, and I like it. So butter press.
It's a butter press.
I just don't think that's an industry term.
You could
That's
say
all- that's
soft
all.
press.
It's a pat term.
Can we have a pat?
Like a pat of
dictionary?
butter?
Pat of butter.
You can find all the other variants of different leathers, presses. You know, the
This
whole
is a-
nine.
It's a ripe episode for soundboard stuff.
Are you saying that you taste leather, or are you
No,
joking
so
around?
profile-wise,
Bada-bas?
I'm assuming the cigar has been sitting for a decent amount of time since it's a late release.
Mhm.
You get that nice sweetness from the broadleaf on your lips when you draw from the cigar. It's a very creamy textured smoke. It has that natural kind of sweetness from the Maduro. And then it has like those nice earth, espresso, leather notes you get from Nicaraguan tobacco.
Mhm.
And it has a nice kind of like Cajun spice in the retro, like that earthy kind of red pepper spice. And then it has the PS Tabato, closed foot, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
So when you light it up, you just get like that sweetness from the broadleaf, just instantly
Right
just
off the top,
infuses the
yeah.
entire cigar. So
Absolutely, yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorite things about the cigar.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's got a closed foot. That's so
I
cool.
love closed foot cigars.
They light so well.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I know you're a foot guy, Dan.
When it comes to cigars, I do have a foot fetish. Bree, what about you? What are you picking up here?
You know, I'm gonna say on par.
Do you like closed feet?
I like feet as
do you
far
like
away
your
as
feet
from
open?
me as possible.
Good thing you're tall.
Here we are, Pat and I both.
Yeah.
you just-
I don't know. Pat's got nice boots on today. You know,
Yeah,
what?
he was.
I don't know. I think
Dressing
his
to
pants
impress
are
today.
tighter than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they give the same flannel you had on last
Nope.
week.
No, I made sure I changed my pants for the show.
I did as well. But that's
Flannel
besides
cap.
the point.
I might have had the same hat last time. But I mean, how many hats does you can get away with having a few?
I can
hats.
wear a different Dixon every day
This
for over a
is
month.
Pastor Padron's fashion segment.
And there's more on the way.
This is a double X basil shirt. It's 7 colors. It's all silk screened on the back. It's stuck to the couch right now. I can't really get up and show you, but it's really cool. It's Mad Dog on a truck smoking a 724. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm disturbed.
You don't look it. It's funny how
Because I have a-
you're
It's because his pants are
you're
too tight. He's
disturbed
forced
look.
to smile.
You're
I have a
happy look.
buffer between you and I right now, so I feel secure in my corner.
Is that all I am to you, a buffer?
You
Just
are
debris.
exactly. You're like a 6'10" buffer.
Yeah, you're a debuffer.
The buffer. Oh, soundboard heaven
Never
tonight. I
felt
love
more
it.
important in my life.
The Buffer Brothers. Yes.
Anywho,
Anywho. Yes. Talk, Bree.
yeah. I mean, I was pretty much more or less gonna say I'm getting the same things as all of you.
Yeah.
Right off
I'm
the
gonna
bat,
say
I
that.
still got that weird like slightly salty earth like coming from the wrapper, but now it's definitely faded more into just straight earth and spice with like a creamy overlay. And I feel like I took like a sip of the drink and it's kind of the same. Like it's very espresso forward, so it's definitely not an espresso martini I'd recommend to someone that's used to sweet espresso martinis that don't have any espresso in them. But I think that this is going to be a really good pairing because
really
the
good
drink
drink.
carries its weight because of the strong espresso.
That was pretty
in it.
good, Brie. There is some saltiness here.
You
There
got it
is.
too?
Yep.
Alright, I thought I was having a stroke.
No, you're all spot on. You all picked up different things. I don't think I can add any more than what's said. The burn is great.
Of course.
The construction's great. The
PD.
draw is perfect as far as I'm concerned.
No.
All those flavor profiles, right on. And I think if I were going to sum up I think all of us are experiencing that creaminess, sweetness on the lips from the wrapper, and that
It's like a creamy, sweet espresso.
and there's that
With a pinch of salt.
little hint of salt, but that there is that nice spice in the retrohale, which is really, really nice. It's not overpowering. It's not like something's gonna make you start crying or make your nose running, but it's really pleasant.
Yeah, I was actually surprised with the pairing. That I thought as soon as I tasted it, I liked it, but I was like, wow, this is sweet. It's gonna ruin the sweetness of the cigar, but it doesn't.
No, it's
And I'm
I
like,
think it's
wow.
highlighting the sweetness
Yes.
of the cigar.
I can't believe it. Usually a sweet drink, when you have a sweet, it kind of like takes it away. This does not. That's amazing.
And it's very whiskey forward. The espresso martini we usually have, you could just drink it straight, and you'd never know you were really hurting yourself doing that, having 3 or 4 of those. This you kind of know, so it's almost more of a drink that you can sip and make last, because you can really experience that Slane whiskey that's in there. You all agree with that?
Sort of.
I'm
I'm kind of tempted to down it when I said.
But you taste the whiskey, right? I mean, it's very obvious that there is whiskey in there.
I should have rimmed the glass with caramel. We'd have like a salted caramel.
Oh, that would have complemented this too.
It's just like it's
Maybe we should
perfect.
stop and start over in 5 minutes. No, let's not do that. Okay, so what I thought we'd talk about tonight while we're smoking the cigar is kind of looking at the podcast as far as like a year in review. We've done our favorite cigars, we've done our favorite pipe tobaccos, and it seemed like an opportune time to kind of look back over the year and see where we've come from and where we want to go in 2023. One of the reasons that, other than it being the beginning of the year, which seems an obvious time to look back and do that,
Yep.
is we did pass a while ago 10,000 downloads on Podbean.
Ooh,
So
10K baby.
10K baby. So I'm was thrilled to reach that milestone. I had wanted to do that in 2022, and apparently we did. So
Yeah, only took 5 seasons, but we did it.
well, the first season was really short.
Yeah, it was only like what, 3 or 4 months.
We're calling a season January to December, and we started in August, mid-August.
Yeah, so 4.5.
Yeah. Yep. So, our 4th full year will be this August.
Yep.
So how we're kind of in season 5, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to go back and figure out what I actually did.
Cool.
But I thought we'd talk a little bit about some of the stats that we have. I know some people like that. People are always asking, how you doing? How many people actually listen to your thing? And it's scary sometimes. Do I really want to look at the stats? But so you let's put something out. Let's put something out there right away.
It's just funny that we went from smoking cigars to
Davis.
smoking CRs to smoking cigars.
Oh Jesus!
Oh my God. help me.
Oh
Well-
my gosh.
Oh my
It's
god.
hard for me to see where the cursor is.
No,
Sometimes,
I
you know?
get it. That's it.
You
That's
can
what
say
it is.
whatever you want, Dave. Yeah, that's
You know,
fine.
I typed it in on my phone, so it was really hard. It was really hard. You know,
Or,
like
you
I
know,
was
I'm
very-
gonna get a text from Brett and Ricky
Your
downstairs,
cigars.
like, oh, he smiled for once in his life. Oh.
Yes, she smiles at the
Yeah.
misfortune of others.
Yep. Yeah. Make sure that all gets fixed there. This is you know, we could be at a whole different level if we just spelled cigar correctly. People would take us so much more serious. So, but in 2022 we had over 18,000 views on YouTube, which, you know, I'd love to see that be bigger, but we're averaging 1,000 unique viewers a month on YouTube, which I think is pretty awesome.
it's a lot better than 6.
I tried looking.
That's
I
where we
tried
started.
looking at face.
Thanks.
I tried looking at Facebook's analytics. I couldn't make hide or hair of them.
No, they suck.
They just. It's so hard to understand what those things.
Well, they don't
are,
want you
what
to
they-
know.
Yeah, and that's
You
the
know,
thing. And
They don't want to know.
frankly, I think it's the same with any of these statistics I look at. They're you really need to sit down and kind of figure out what it is. It's not like they make it easy for you, but I think the breakdown of saying, you know, around 1,000 viewers a month on YouTube, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah. We're going places.
Did we find
We're
out
going places.
how many? What's our most viewed episode? Is that still the ladies' night?
Still the ladies' night. No one's catching that. That's like almost at an all-time thing of like 50,000 views.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That's what TNA gets you.
Yep.
Jeez.
Oh my goodness. But it's funny. Our top 5 countries on YouTube for viewers were U.S. Go figure. It's where we are. And then, what do you think the next country is?
Canada,
Canada,
No,
Iraq.
no,
India.
no.
England.
Top 5 countries. So as far as YouTube is concerned, Canada doesn't even.
Hello,
make the
my
top 5.
Samsung friends.
I think that I just thought that was strange, you know. And if you go on Podbean, where we do our main posting of the audio version of this podcast on, that's where you get all your stats. And
So what?
my
Where are
understanding-
those from?
That's from YouTube.
That's from YouTube. Okay. Yep.
That's from YouTube. And Podbean, their stats are the easiest to understand, but they still don't give you exactly what you're all looking for as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, we passed the 10,000 downloads, which was awesome. And our downloads in 2022 were up almost 30% from 2021.
Oh, we're doing something right.
29.5%. So we're doing good. We did good last. We did something right, or we have more people. Just
People are really bored.
Is that-
really,
Really bored.
TikTok has run its course, and now they're looking for things to do.
There's a correlation of Pat One Day being on the show and increased viewership. Who said that?
Yeah,
It's his tight pants.
It's his
I know.
tight pants. Yeah.
yeah.
The millennials love it. Yeah.
Now the top 5 countries for listenership, according to Podbean, are the U.S. of course,
Of course, us. Haha.
then Canada,
Canada,
the U.K.,
the UK,
Germany,
Germans,
and Switzerland.
Switzerland. Yeah,
Now look at that's very
That's German. dude.
that's very different.
they sound very similar.
Why do you think it's so different on audio versus video?
Because some people are visual and some people are.
People are on the go. I think
So
that's what it comes
so what you're saying is that people in Brazil and India
Well-
and South Korea are much more video oriented than people
Yes.
in Canada and the
South
UK.
Korea, South Korea. That's where like all the.
That's where all the anime comes from.
That's where all of our phones are made.
What does that have anything to do with what
That's-
people are saying
that-
on the podcast?
Yes, it does. That's
Yeah,
where
but-
all the media. That's where it
Well,
comes.
But,
I
but
think-
you would think if that's the case, then it should have been a YouTube thing
think
or a
that-
video based
Well,
thing.
they were the YouTube one.
No,
South Korea was YouTube.
South Korea, yeah, that's right. South
Thank
Korea
you.
is YouTube.
Okay.
You know, Canada UK, Germany, Switzerland. I thought that was funny. And then there were surprise countries too, like the Ukraine. We're in the Ukraine.
Interesting.
Did you know that 50% of the people that live in Canada live below that parallel line that's the border of the US and Canada?
Can we add a segment to the show? Dave's useless facts, please.
Yeah, that's probably
because the rest is just wild, wild wilderness. And, it's
Yeah.
fur trappers.
Yep. Yukon territory.
Mm-hmm.
No one lived there.
That's where I'm going.
And then here's another place where we're at, and again, not a lot of downloads, but still, y- more than just a few. New Zealand. Now, I thought that was funny because New Zealand is a place
smoke free.
you can't really find a smoke shop. They instituted a law. They passed a law that says if you are not old enough to smoke now, you can't ever smoke
What?
your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
It is illegal for you if you are 18 now. You can't do that.
Yep.
If you're born before this particular year, which I think is like 18 this year, if you're not already old enough to smoke, it's done.
So no smoking unless you're grandfathered in.
They want to
Moral.
be exactly. They want to be virtually smoke free, by the middle of the century.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be a smoke free country. And I don't know how that's going to work. I think you're going to see them be ordering all sorts of stuff from black sites online.
Yep.
Yep,
That's what happens.
But I thought it was funny that we have listeners over there where they can't even get cigars.
Well, that's what that doesn't that make sense? It's censored, so they're eating up stuff that they can't have
I guess.
You always want
why
what
would you
you
want to watch a show about something that you can't do?
because you can't do it.
How do you know you would want to do it if you can't do it?
It's that grass is greener effect, man. It's always there.
Or it's the whole older generation that's used to smoking. That's,
Maybe.
They're like,
That's true.
the good old days.
On both YouTube and Podbean, our main audience is between 45 and 55. In other words, Pat, they could be your father or grandfather.
Who's your daddy, Patty?
Daddy to daddy.
Yeah. Daddy Pat, Daddy Pat.
Daddy, daddy, Patty.
You got the next gen
Oh,
oh, right
man.
here.
we got so much for the soundboard. This is
Oh,
awesome.
Yep.
Daddy Pat.
Yep. So now, as far in the U.S.,
Thank you for wearing socks.
in the
Pat.
U.S., top 5 states. What do you think is number one?
New Hampshire.
No.
Boston.
Texas.
Massachusetts.
Hold on. Philadelphia.
Massachusetts. Who said Massachusetts? Massachusetts number one.
Thank you, Massholes.
Yep. Doesn't surprise me at all. Twins has a lot of customers in Massachusetts. What do you think the number 2 state is?
New Hampshire.
No.
Florida.
Philadelphia.
New Hampshire is number 5.
All right. Philadelphia.
Pennsylvania.
No, Philadelphia is not a state, Pat.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, like literally the city Philadelphia.
No.
Texas.
Arkansas.
No.
Wyoming.
No.
Illinois.
As a matter of fact,
Nebraska.
we have never been downloaded in Wyoming.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you, Wyoming. You suck.
What about Wisconsin?
Wisconsin we have.
My cheese
Idaho.
No.
Does it tell you where in the states they're tuning in from?
Yes. Well, it's state-wise.
So does it say like does it tell you where in the state
The
though?
District of
It
Columbia.
doesn't get it. Podbean stats do not get that
Oh.
deep.
California?
Washington.
California is number 2.
Wow.
It's going back to the forbidden fruit thing because they have such high
Massachusetts
taxes
is number
on
1,
cigars.
and California is number 2.
The 2 worst states to live in. Wow.
For tobacco, yes. And then it's Minnesota,
Minnesota.
Washington State,
Washington State. Yeah.
and then
Anarchy.
New Hampshire.
Then New Hampshire.
And those aren't small. Those are the big guys. But I thought Massachusetts didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me that New Hampshire was in the top 5. I thought it was going to be higher. Never would have thought California would be in the top 5.
Stand by the forbidden fruit mentality.
Yep, yep, yep. So that's a little snapshot picture of where we're at and what we've done and everything. I don't have anything else.
What's the total number of people on Podbean? Do they have that?
We on Podbean, you don't get people, you get downloads.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if I were gonna go, let me go. I didn't actually write that down. It looks like, so let me go back in here.
I wonder why they do downloads and not people who listen to it.
Well, that's the thing. It's and I like that almost more, because if somebody downloads it, they're probably going to listen to it, and it's not going to be that person downloaded it again and again and again. So you don't get repeat stuff, right? With YouTube, you kind of have to guess. Just because you got a view doesn't mean the person watched the whole thing.
No, but a
They
view
watch-
counts for so many minutes. Or
So
something
many
like that.
seconds, so many minutes. So view wise, we get about on Podbean just under 300 a month.
Mm.
So about 300 people a month are downloading the podcast.
Cool.
That's as close as I can get it. Now, what are some things that maybe we would want to try and do this year to help keep that number going in the right direction?
Exotic locations.
Where would we want to? What goal do we want to hit next year for downloads, viewership? You think we could do 15?
I think we could do 15.
You think we could do 20?
I was gonna say let's double it.
Want to double it on Podbean?
Double 20K.
You have any ideas, Pat, for getting to
Exotic locations.
exotic locations?
Yes.
Like what? Your pantry?
No. Like exotic locations. Like I don't know. I think it's someplace
Like
exotic and do it
locations.
there. Like let's have not just blowing smoke in the Caribbean. Let's get creative here.
Yeah, well, to do that, Dave, you need a passport.
Yep.
I don't think the government's going to give you one. So.
Why? I don't do anything.
Exactly.
That sounded suspicious.
Well, speaking of that,
Or like, for instance, at one place I can think of, not exotic to say, is Bill Keena, who just moved up here from Florida, who's one of our watchers and viewers and stuff like that. Hey, Bill. He built a lounge in his house, his new house, and that would be a perfect place to have a podcast.
so maybe we do the podcast at like different people's
Yeah.
smoke rooms or something like that.
Yeah.
Customer smoke rooms.
We could do something like that.
We've already been invited to do it from Sean's.
Yeah. So we definitely need to do it at Sean's.
Yep.
That would be so comfortable. Yeah.
Bree more opportunity to sing Santa Baby.
The uncomfortable. Where it all began.
If only it was just singing Santa Baby.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Hmm.
Now, one of the other things I was going to talk about on the show it's kind of a good segue. You bring up the exotic locations. This coming week, I won't be on the show because I'll be in
At an exotic location.
at
Thank
an
God.
Thank you.
Yep. And I
Lucky.
myself and Bobby Davis, one of our other tobacconists, are going to the JRE farms down in Honduras in Denali, and we're going to be staying with Justo and Julio Aroa on their compound. And
That's horrible.
we're going to be there. It's a quick trip. We're going Sunday, coming back Wednesday. So that's a lot of traveling in a little bit of time, to get to that end of the world. but we'll get to see and tour the farms, the barns, the factories. We'll see the whole thing from one end to the other.
I challenge you to bring me back a cigar leaf.
And it has to fit in my bag.
A
See,
Corojo
here's the thing.
cigar leaf.
I'm not going to check anything.
Customs might stop you.
I'm not going to check anything. So everything I'm bringing and bringing back has to fit in my backpack
And go through customs.
and go through customs. Yes. I actually this weekend did a test with the backpack I want to bring to make sure I could pack all of my clothes that I wanted to bring in it and still have a little bit of room.
You only have to worry about shorts and t-shirts. You don't have to worry about like.
Well, it's gonna be it's if the weather holds, it's gonna be upper 70s, lower 80s during the day, but it can be in the 50s at night. So you don't want to bring just warm stuff.
Mhm.
But anyway, I'm excited about that. This is the first time I'm going to be out of the country in decades. I think the last time I was out of the country I was still in high school.
Trinidad and Tobago.
No, that was Rebecca.
Oh, okay.
I was in Turkey.
Turkey. Yeah.
Turkey and Canada
Turkey and Canada.
and Quebec. Never made it over to anywhere near where Rod is or Jeff, two of our other listeners. They're in the Ontario region.
Quebec.
Now that we're about an inch or more into the cigar, is it changing? How are you liking it? How's the pairing?
The spice has really mellowed out. I'm not really getting as much of the pepper and earth, and it's almost giving me cedar vibes. And I feel like the drink it's creating that salivation where like there's so many flavors going on that the sweetness from the drink is really coming forth, and then the cigar is just kind of like coating over like the espresso. So it's really turning into an easy pairing. Like you don't really have to think about it. I just ashed the cigar for the first time
Yep.
a second ago. Like great construction on that part, and
I think the martini here is actually making the cigar nicer than it is on its own.
Did
Would
anybody
you
else?
guys agree with
I
that?
would agree.
Did anybody else get their
Did
espresso
you just
bean?
did you
I
just
did.
swallow a coffee bean, Dave?
No, I chewed on it. I was like, what the fuck is this?
That could
Is there
change the
grounds in
palate.
my drink? Oh, that was good.
Oh my god.
Kaz says he's heard of Butterface, but not Butterpress. Butterface.
Bada boom.
Bada bing.
Guys, I'll bring up your agreeance in being a belly button guy if you keep talking smack.
She's got a nice belly button, butter face.
That's a soundboard.
I'm waiting for Kaz.
Pat didn't know what to do with that damn.
I'm gonna send Kaz a shovel.
Would you agree
Now listen here,
Pat.
boy.
that the pairing is making the cigar more enjoyable than the cigar on its own? Or
Yeah, no, I think whenever you put anything coffee based with Maduro, never mind like a Connecticut
Maduro.
broadleaf cigar,
Mhm.
it's always gonna go well. And I like with this one, there's enough whiskey in it that it's not overly sweet because you don't really need a lot
Right.
of sweetness with this cigar. So having a little bit of that kind of woodiness, and to me, like Slane's really herbal. So I mean, it's an Irish whiskey, so you're getting a lot of those
Is
nuances.
whiskey herbal?
Slane to me is very herbal.
Herbal.
Gerbil.
That's what I said, herbal,
Gerbil.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Herb is like a name, like Herbie.
I said
Herbie.
herbal.
Tar.
I said
If you-
herbal.
been-
If you
Bananas.
say herbal,
Herbal?
I said herbal.
Herbal.
not hairball.
I said herbal.
Herbal.
Right? Were you shaking her head, herbal?
I'm here for you, Pat. I'm here for you.
Yeah,
It's
you're
okay.
my
It's okay if you
barrier.
said herbal, but
Duh
you,
buffer.
you corrected.
No, Slane, like, I went through a tasting like over a year ago, so I kind of
Whoa.
forgot. But they use like it's triple cask. I know it's virgin barrels, charred barrels, and then they use
Virgin
Like
charred.
I think a red wine cask, something like that.
Like,
Is that
it's
like
either sherry or porter.
Like a
what
sherry,
does
I
that
think.
mean?
What does
Oh no,
that
is
even
it?
mean?
No. I think they use a Tennessee whiskey cask for the third one. They use like a Jack Daniel's barrel. I'm pretty sure. But moral is it's the only triple
The moral.
distilled.
We need
There's
we
no
need
morals.
fact checkers. Fact
Fact
checkers.
checkers.
It's the only.
Let's
Oh,
do some fact checking for us.
as a fact, it's the only triple distilled Irish whiskey on the market.
That's
as of last.
true. I remember. Yes.
But I do think it's virgin charred than Tennessee whiskey barrel.
Now, virgin char doesn't mean there are virgins charring the barrels.
A virgin,
never know.
A virgin barrel, so a virgin, like a brand new barrel, and then a charred
then
Like
you
the
barrel.
mother
burn
of
it.
Jesus. Virgin.
There's 3 singular
Burn it.
barrels.
There's 3 barrels.
The virgin.
Charred, no, virgin,
up?
charred, sherry, or no, Tennessee whiskey.
Cherry.
Tennessee
This is-
whiskey.
this is
Dan, you're
getting-
screwing me up.
This is getting really weird and bizarre.
I hope they don't eat back in the country.
I might
If he
stay
brings back a
down there.
tobacco leaf, they might not.
Well, the great, Julio has 3 daughters too. Around right, I think they're a little bit older than mine, but
Where
he's
was you
got
going?
3 daughters too. So he and I,
Just gonna
we
steal
both
his
live
life.
in the estrogen palace. We might, if we hit it off well enough, I might not come back.
Yep.
Sorry, Kurt. Hey now.
Send for my family.
I'm staying down here. So do you want to complete your quasi memory talk of what virgin barrels are?
It's just a new barrel. Like they
A
just,
new barrel,
It's
yeah.
brand new. They made it and they put it in.
You never know what these people are thinking. who are
Never been
listening
wet.
to us, so we have to be clear, Pat.
All right, a pure barrel. How about that?
Pure barrel.
Pure, blessed wood.
A barrel that has been sacrificed to the dark.
Sorry, that's what I'm talking about.
Sacrificial barrel.
Yes.
The sacrificial barrel.
sacrificial
And
barrel.
then burnt. And
Yes.
then burnt. Charred for her pleasure.
Oh my gosh. That's for ladies' night, Davina. Maybe.
Yeah. Are we gonna do another ladies' night? Do you think?
Well, we missed it
We can
last year.
orchestrate it.
Yeah,
We
gotta
can
miss it.
orchestrate
Yeah.
it.
I got a text from Talia today. She's wanting to get back on the show.
Yeah,
We
she's
should
been.
do something like that. Yeah.
She hasn't been on since last year.
Yeah, well, she's had the health problems, and then she was out of the country herself, going to Greece and everything. She came back. She was on the show after that, but it's been a little bit. She's jonesing to. I would never say no to Talia if she wanted to be on the show. She's great.
Kaz says that wasn't me. It was Mike. Pat.
Oh yeah, Rocky.
Sure, Kaz. Him and his little fancy gloves and
No,
his
Mike
little
was an eye.
snake
Mike was an eye guy.
snake looking
Yeah,
dress boots.
it's
too
50
thin.
out. I need to put these gloves on.
His little
From South
redhead
Carolina.
flicked
Don't touch me.
over.
This is
He's a
cold.
closet belly button guy.
Buttons.
With very delicate skin.
The hardest button to button. The song.
I'm
game.
an effing delight. That's what his button says. Oh my gosh, it's very true. Yep. So, are you going to be able to put the show together next week, Pat? Or are you going to, pass that on to Dave?
It's gonna be.
Trust Dave to do it.
Dave's gonna do it.
Let's just say next
can-
year when we do the downloads again, it's gonna be the top
Uh-huh.
episode.
Yeah. Don't
gonna
put
be-
don't put people
Pat-
to sleep.
It's gonna
Pat,
be
I would
all
love that.
Don't
It's gonna
put
be-
people to sleep.
all constitutional law talk.
Yes. I would love it if next week's show ends up being like one of the most watched or most downloaded, and I wasn't on. I would be so happy for you, and for the show. But I'd be happy. I wouldn't be jealous in the slightest.
Are we getting Goss on, or is he not? is
No,
he not
Goss is going to be on. So we're gonna have Nick Goss
Yeah.
on. So he's going to do the poor man's version of Jeremiah Merfell,
Oh,
and he'll
I
be
thought
in
you,
like
I
some
thought you
gold
said
suit,
Jeremiah was a
gold
bullfrog.
suit,
That would have been
hat and glasses, but he won't be representing the world's finest luxury uber luxury cigar, but it'll be good. It'll be doing Cavalier, and I think they'll be good. They're just re-releasing their U.S. blend, and it's this little cigar. It's like 3.5 inches long. I had
Dave,
it.
I'm getting told that there is a black screen for the show at the moment.
Ooh, black screen. That's hot. Ooh, there is a black screen. Oh.
Except for the lounge.
Good thing Brett's getting paid right now.
So, what happened there?
Is that a black screen?
Speaking of,
No.
It's Pat's boots.
Hope he fall down the stairs, Brett.
I don't know, Bree. You're not doing the buffering. It's still getting into him.
just reach your foot over me, Dan.
Hope there's no one listening, just audio right now, because that wouldn't have sounded.
Well, they can't see
appropriate.
anything, so we can do pretty much whatever we want that way.
That's why I have the.
Hey.
There we go.
You're
There we
more
go.
so
There we go.
violating Bree than I right now.
I'm just
Oh,
the
yeah.
buffer.
Bree
I have no rights. I'm just a buffer.
Bree invited the
Buffer.
crossing of the boundary there.
I didn't hear any consent on that one.
Oh,
Permit
unconsensual
him
boundary
only
counting.
if his foot made direct contact with the underside of your knee.
I think he didn't. It
You
didn't
sure?
happen.
You sure?
The underside of Pat's knee.
All right, this has gotten a little creepy.
That's why I stopped talking.
Oh my goodness. So what are some of the things you'd like to see happen in 2023 with us?
With us or the industry?
With the podcast.
I'd like to
Goals
see,
for the podcast.
I would like to have Pete Johnson physically here.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have someone from Fuente here.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to have, it would be cool to have AJ Fernandez on the show. I think it'd be cool for that. Like, have some bigger names that we've never had yet.
Yep.
That'd be cool. Maybe check in on Dion Giolito. So we haven't talked to him in a while.
No, I'd like to have Nick Melillo on. Especially
Yes.
Since we
Again,
called
yes,
his cigar the best new blend of the year.
that would be awesome. I'm sure he'd love to come down. So.
Yep, that would be awesome. I've interviewed him several times, remotely, but I'd love to do it in person. That would be great.
And we need to bring Paul back on.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an awesome show.
Yep.
That
Which
would be an
is,
awesome show.
He has agreed to
Pablo
come back.
Pablo Maduro could do it. Now, do you think we can do Skype from here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Badly.
Badly. You're going to do something badly for Paul?
Yeah. Well, we're doing something badly now. So, yep. Yep. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe we can convince Kurt to up the uploads. That'd be good.
What would you like to see, Bree?
I don't know. I'm kind of
Would you
with
like to
the
see us
the
at-
exotic destinations topic.
Mm-hmm.
Just like going live from other places once in a while and changing it up and just kind of.
What are
doing
some
the
places
whole-
you think would be interesting to broadcast from? Special things.
France.
No, yeah, definitely France. I was thinking Europe, maybe, possibly.
Ireland.
We'll go to the Slain Distillery. Actually, you know what? A distillery podcast,
Yeah,
or
just
even
like-
the brewery, like
You're in a
603,
brewery,
our
yeah,
guys down
603,
there.
yeah.
Probably.
Go live from
We could almost
603.
certainly do something at the 603.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
That would actually. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Maybe like one from Pat's Patio.
The Patty Daddy Patio.
I've accumulated a good cigar collection on that patio.
You keep your cigars on your patio.
You know what I want to do this year, Dan?
I want to graduate.
Get out of the bar.
I want to get out of this joint.
I want to start I want the podcast to be recording history. That's what I want. I want us to get influential people on the show, so their stories and their experiences are recorded through our podcast. Like
That'd be
not just
cool.
principal people, but just like for instance, like
Not just blowing smoke,
Joey.
people.
Yeah.
Like getting people like that
From
who
the
have a good
industry.
story and just let them tell their story to
Joey
people.
would be awesome to have on the show.
It's gonna be a year until we see Joey on the show, but it's like I want to get like principal people, yes, but like I just want to get people on the show
Yeah.
that can
Interesting.
like we can
One of
just
my-
document their story. You know what I mean? Like
One of the friends I have now since working at Hooksess is the great grandson of R.G. Sullivan.
Wow.
That would be awesome to
That
have
would
him
be.
on.
You know, he came into my shop and it was like I'm this great grandson. I've like, smoked cigars before, like once or twice. He's like, and I just found out like who my heritage actually was. So I came down here. He's like this. He's actually a big wig from like some company in like DC or something like that. And he comes in and he's just like, can you tell me the story? So I just like walked him through the whole place, told him Kurt's story, like everything. He was just like jaw dropped. Like it was so cool. So
That would be fascinating too, because it's like you'd get to hear the stories of not just people in the industry, but people that like have adhered to the industry that have been affected by it, even if it's only in like a small way, whether it's familial, whether it's just like hobbyist, whether it's just like
well, he
you
grew
never
up
know.
with all that, as like background, and he didn't know it was just like another thing in the house, but he didn't know the meaning behind it, and it was just really cool to be able to tell him like where the original building was, like all that kind of stuff, the pictures that we have, the original signs that Kurtz has all over the place. It was really cool. Yeah.
I love the stories idea. I love the recording of history ideas. I think that's great.
be good to get Akil back on too from Regis.
He would love to come back, and I would love to have him back. Just one of the most interesting guys, just so incredibly gifted in a bunch of different ways. I know, pipe-wise, one of the people I'm trying to get to come to the store is Greg Pease of GLPs, and he's one
He's
of
a
these.
god.
He's one of these really like Renaissance guys. He gets into something and he's like, he learns everything about it, and so computer programming, making wine, food, sauces, pipe tobacco, cameras, photography. He does all, and he's like gets to the top of all of these different things. And having somebody so varied, who also has such a great history in tobacco, would be great to have on the show. That he would be a really interesting guy, and he doesn't do it much. So if we're able to work that out, that would be epic. Kaz and I are working on that right now.
Who else? I'd love to have. What was the guy's name again from Toscano? I'd love to have him
Mike?
back on.
Mike
again.
Toscano?
Yeah.
Mike-
Is he still with Toscano?
Yeah, Mike still is. Yeah, he's still the rep, and he's actually going to be Twins rep for Toscano. They're going to be going in house. They've moved away from Miami Cigars as their distributor. Toscano is going to be doing stuff direct, and Mike is going to be Mike Capolini is his name. He's going to be our guy, and he's the national head brand ambassador for Toscano cigars.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, he's another guy that I would love to have back on the show again too.
What are some other of these people that you'd like to have on to have their stories told?
It's kind of tough. I mean, it's one of those things you really have to like sit down and,
Guy from Rojas.
The guy from
Well,
Rojas.
I don't
Noel?
know. I didn't know his name, but I've heard parts of his story that so I figured that would be. He showed up in Florida on a boat.
A raft.
A raft.
That's
Sorry.
cool. That's true. Like it'd be kind of
Yeah.
cool to have like a boutique series, like all of the boutique brand owners, like the like Kurt Kendalls and stuff, just like come to the forefront
Or
and
not
tell
even
their
like to me, it's
story.
like it's not even that. It's like through my experience and like the brief time I've been in the industry, like people that aren't necessarily like a manufacturer or like distributor of the industry, like a lot of people have really interesting stories and like cigars are intertwined in those stories. So it's something like that. Like a lot of the
Michael Jordan.
like I can even
That'd be
reference
cool.
a show that I watched, like the
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
like Fuente's podcast with Jose Blanco, Professor Marifel's on there. Like they're honestly like their big thing is recording history, but they have big names on the show, which is a great thing because again, like they're accomplishing their goal. But I think like with us being a B&M and being more direct to the consumer, I think there's a lot of stories from our end that I think we should be putting out there. There's a lot of people that like even Mike from Rocky, him
Yeah.
and he was on the police. Like we've talked about on the show before, but it's like a lot of these people come from such like diverse backgrounds and like cigars brought them to a different part of their life, and obviously principled people too. Like, I don't see Akil on many shows and just people like that. I mean, I just want to like start.
Not for nothing. Right along that line, I'd love to hear Sean's story.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Yeah.
general manager. A whole career in law enforcement in Port Authority, and builds this relationship with Rocky Patel and with Mike from Rocky Patel, and now he's here at Twins, and it's I would love to hear about things that happened, what he did, what brought him around to cigars, what brought him into the. I think that'd be awesome.
Michael
Even
Herklots.
you guys, like what brought what brought you into cigars? Like when did your history with cigars start?
That would be a fun thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Especially for me, I still get the looks, when I go and speak at churches or whatever. You smoke cigars? You can do that? God lets you get away with that? Oh yes, he is very encouraging. of
God
me.
loves cigars.
But I will say, I think if
Kind of
we
reminds me of
Yeah,
prior
if-
talk from
if we
Robin.
can
There's
look
not a
back-
smoking room up in heaven. There's a place where you can go if you just don't want to be there. It's this little corner. The rest of us are all going to be smoking cigars.
I feel like if we after 2023 is over, if we can look back on the year and feel like we actually did document history and put stories out there that no one else would have been able to do, I think we would be pretty achieved and we'd be happy about that. On top of what we usually do with the cigars and the products and the new releases and everything, I think like that's something that a
Well, they can all be
B&M
done together. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
like that's something a B&M I think can contribute, and I think that it's an opportunity that I don't think a lot of people take, and I think that being like front lines in the industry, I think there's a lot of things we can put out there for people.
So not just blowing smoke, vision board, history topic.
And more Pat's briefs.
And more Pat's brains.
Does Pat have time for briefs?
I can do briefs. I can always do briefs.
Briefly.
Briefly, briefs.
The current cigar litigation's at a standstill until the judge returns a verdict, but when that happens, I'll have some busy work.
Well, what other briefs could you do?
I guess it depends. If you want it to be cigar centric, there's a lot of like municipalities and states and counties that are banning flavored tobacco, cigars, smoking indoors, etc.
Yeah.
So I could look into those specific areas and do some write-ups of that.
I'd love to know, especially we had so many cities, states, ban flavored tobacco or smoking cigars outside or whatever. I would love to be able to find out how that actually impacted the communities. Did it stop the smoking? Did it continue at the same pace, at a slower pace? Did it increase? I would love to find out some of that stuff and like be able to tell people, California decided to ban all this stuff to make it go away. And they either did or it didn't this year. I'd love to be able to say one way or the other what happened with that.
You know who we should get on the show? I think that would be really beneficial, especially to that point. Is we should get like Scott Pierce or somebody from the PCA on.
Mm,
You know, I think that would be
that would be a great show.
a great past brief show. If you have Scott Pierce on, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
I had a brief conversation with him at the Bone
Speaking
Smoker.
of briefs, I had a brief conversation. You didn't even know you did that, did you, Pat?
Oh,
See?
briefly.
I'm paying attention. Briefly.
But with Scott, and he's like a wealth of knowledge. I think he'd be like a lot of the things that he says, I think would benefit people that watch this show to just kind of be aware. So I think that would be an awesome person to get on the show.
Hey, Scott, do you remember me? It's P Daddy.
I'd love to have Jorge back on the show. Jorge Montero. So I'd love to have him back on.
Yep.
Back in his university. This would have been 2023 will be like his first year just focusing on that. And I'd love to
I'd love to have him here.
yeah,
You know.
I'd love that too. But I would love to hear how that's doing when he's just focusing on it, and how that's impacting the entire cigar community, because that's the curriculum that the PCA endorses for training tobacconists across the country. So I'd love to see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're coming up on the end of the show here. So what's our final verdict here on the TAA 2022 from Tatuaje?
Yum.
Yum.
Yeah. It's got this wonderful sweetness with this wonderful spice. Earth, leather espresso.
Leather espresso.
Leather espresso, making up words. I loved it as soon as I smoked it. As soon as I smoked it, I was like, this is like one of my favorites already for 2023. That's what I thought.
That was
like,
also
wow,
the first
this is
cigar you've had in 2023.
great. No, I smoke like 5 cigars a day. I don't know about you.
No, first new cigar of 2023.
Well, I still know, because we'll have to have. I think part of that list will be the blackened.
Did you smoke it yet?
Yeah, when it first came out in December, I bought all 3 sizes, smoked them all. So there.
Pat,
It was
you're
good.
smiling, Pat. Try not to do that.
Yeah, I know, right?
And
You're
we
gonna mess
Breaking
people up.
character. Breaking character.
I'm curious to see how the Sumatra
Good job, Pat.
PCA is gonna be. But
If you
yeah,
get
it was good. It's again, like whenever Pete uses broadleaf on any of his blends, I haven't had a bad one. So
I feel like Sumatra and Broadleaf are always competing with Pete Johnson.
Mhm.
Like sometimes it'll be Sumatra, sometimes it'll be Broadleaf. It keeps bouncing back and forth. So I'm actually very looking forward to see if we get the Sumatra, how it'll stack up.
I'm hoping it's like the 2020 TAA. That's what I'm hoping. That thing was amazing.
You don't want it to be something new,
That 2020 was perfect.
so you just shouldn't bother trying to make something new. Just make the same thing over and over again.
That's if it were up to me, he'd make that cigar regularly. That was an amazing cigar.
What about you, Bree? Are you digging this after an hour?
It's easy like Sunday morning.
Oh,
Second ash of the whole
apparently
cigar.
you don't go to church.
You know what? You're right. I used to go to church and I stopped. No.
She go to church.
What?
I said you go to my church.
Oh, I went to the Baptist church.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's
I ain't no
very,
Baptist.
very mellow.
Mm.
Yeah, this has been very enjoyable. Haven't had to relight it, haven't had to touch it up, even with all the talking going on.
Mm-hmm.
The burn has stayed great. The ash is nice, firm. It stays on there for a good long
Very
time.
ashy.
I think the profile's been pretty uniform throughout the cigar. It was a little bit spicier at the front, but there's still a little bit in the
Little
retro.
wrapper. Closed foot.
But creamy, cocoa, earth. You know, it goes fantastic with the pairing was amazing, and I really do think that the drink brought out
Enhanced
more
it.
of the cigar
I
than
agree.
it is on its own. So I think the pairing was awesome.
I pulled a Flanagan. So
Yeah,
I
he
think
finished the
I
whole
think this year we should keep track of what the best drink was. So I would
Ooh,
say
true.
so far in the year, this is probably the best one. So
Yeah,
next
I
week
would
we'll
agree.
compare it when Dan's not here. Thankfully, we'll compare it against this drink and keep going forward with it.
All right. Very good. Well, next week I'll be in Honduras,
Thank
and I'll
God.
be taking videos and pictures and stuff. We'll talk about that when I get back, and show some stuff when I get back. But Nick Goss will be here, and they'll be smoking Cavalier cigars, and so you're not going to want to miss it. Be here next Tuesday, 8 o'clock.
Not just blowing smoke.
Boom.